Welcome back to another episode of
SoupBread, and today we are making Birria Focaccia. Birriaccia? I did all of the math and I made sure that we are good in the department of fermentation versus our broth. And so we're going to start off with the initial steps of the birria and the consomé. Just like all the other SoupBreads, we're going to split the stock. We're going to start off really clean, then I will season the rest and make the actual birria. Without further ado, actually there's further ado. Authentic way to make birria is with goat, but I'm not a huge fan of goat, and most people do make it with beef. I went with a chuck roast of the beef, and then also some ribs, which we're gonna throw in the broth to really give it that flavor. And then we've got some bay leaves, onions, garlic, a cinnamon stick. You normally use aroma tomatoes, but these were so beautiful at the farmer's markets. I decided to go with these instead, the heirloom tomatoes. And then we've got 3 different types of chilies. So we're gonna do arbol chilies, guajillo chilies, and the ancho chilies. Mexican dried oregano, some cumin, ground cloves, as well as some whole black peppers. When I first start with creating my broth for the focaccia, I don't add any salt or anything. For this application, we're gonna keep it as clean as possible because we want our focaccia to thrive. Let's get started.
Start with cutting up your chuck roast and ribs. No salt yet, remember, this broth's doing double duty. Sear off for that golden crust, then soak your chilies, guajillo, ancho, a few arbols, about 15 minutes till soft. Meanwhile, I quarter my onions, slice some garlic, grab a couple heirloom tomatoes, and layer everything in the pressure cooker. Beef, veggies, spices, bay leaves, and water. While that heats, I peel open the soaked chilies, release the seeds into the same water, then strain it and pour the whole thing in. That way you keep the flavor and the heat. Pressure cook for 1 hour, and trust me, your kitchen's gonna smell unreal.
So now we want to just go ahead and let the birria broth do its thing. I'm using my pressure cooker, so it's 60 minutes. If you're doing it in the pot, I'll have all the instructions in the recipe. I just depressurized my pressure cooker and split the stock. So I'm gonna take out the exact amount I need for my focaccia, and then the rest is going to be my birria to season everything, let it cook for just a little bit longer, and then mince the meat and everything else.
Half the broth goes into a fat separator, then into the fridge. The rest gets finished into consomé. Salt, apple cider vinegar, another hour on low. By now, my starter's ready, bubbly and very loud, so I whisk it straight into the broth. No fat. Then I measure out my bread and AP flour separately for accuracy, mix, and then autolyse for 30 minutes.
We are on our first part of bread making process, which is I combined the sourdough starter with my broth and the flour. And so now we're gonna autolyse, and then we're gonna start doing our stretch and fold. So the autolyse period, I usually do about 30 to 35 minutes.
Now I scoop out the chilies and everything but the beef. Blend with a little broth till smooth, strain it, and then pour it all back in. That's your flavor base. The leftover pulp, spread it thin and dehydrate it at 165 for 5 hours. Then I blend it into birria powder. It's pure umami. I'll fold that into the dough later. Meanwhile, shred the beef, moisten it with a ladle of broth, and keep the rest hot for dipping.
Process that I did for the birria, which is not the traditional way of cooking it in a sense of technique, is because I was trying to make a very clean broth, and if I had blended out the chilies, all of the other vegetables before I split my stock, then I would have risked the chance of not being able to have a clean broth for the bread. I do know that it's not supposed to be done that way, so please bear with me. This is for the sake of the bread first, and then the birria. Know that it was done with intention and not just because.
Time to finish the dough. Add salt, birria fat, and knead it through.
You always want to make sure that you wet your hands a little bit, otherwise the dough will get stuck to your digits. If you're new to making anything sourdough, I promise you it looks really intimidating to make bread, but it really isn't once you understand the process of it all. And I'm gonna just pick it up and do a few coil folds. Baking and cooking is all about experimenting, right? And in Soul's Kitchen, we are always experimenting. It's gonna be a little sticky, especially if it's high hydration dough. Once you continue to do this, the dough starts to kind of come together more, and the gluten network starts to form, and you'll get a little bit more of a solid structure. 30 more minutes, and then we'll do another set of coil folds.
3 stretch and folds, 30 minutes apart. While that rests, you want to prep your toppings: Oaxaca cheese, onions, cilantro. After the overnight cold retard, stretch the dough into a square. Sprinkle birria seasoning, fold it, and drop it into a well-oiled pan. Proof for 2 to 3 hours, then top it with the beef, cheese, onions, cilantro, and dimple it deep. Bake at 425 for 30 minutes, turning halfway. Let it cool for 20 minutes. I know it's torture, but worth it. From there, you can dip it in consomé or make a dripping birriaccia sandwich. Either way, chaos, perfection, and carbs.
Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to another episode of SoupBread. Let me know how you guys like this video, what bread I should try next, or what combination. You can find this recipe on my Substack, and I will link it below. Like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on Instagram. I do post different types of content on there. And then also, if you haven't joined my snack pack yet on Instagram, I have like a little chat room there where I do post some like freebies and other things. I would love for you guys to join it, and until next time, bye.